You've done this before. Different person, different name, different set of circumstances, and yet somehow you're here again, feeling exactly the same way you swore you'd never feel again. And you're starting to wonder if it's them or if it's you. If there's something about you that keeps calling this in, keeps choosing it, keeps ending up here. And I'm going to tell you something that might feel uncomfortable, but I need you to stay with me because uncomfortable and cruel are not the same thing. And what I'm about to say is the total opposite of cruel. Because yes, there is something happening, but it's not what you think. And once you understand it, it stops feeling like a curse and starts feeling like something you can actually work with. I used to think I had terrible taste in people, like some part of my radar was just broken, calibrated wrong, finding the wrong ones every single time. It wasn't that. The radar wasn't broken. It was working. It was working exactly as it had been programmed. Because what we're attracted to isn't random. It's deeply quite familiar, and familiar doesn't always mean good for us. Sometimes familiar just means this is what love felt like when I first learned what love was about. And here's where it gets interesting because the pattern isn't just about what you consciously want. It's about what feels like home to your nervous system, even when home wasn't safe. So let's talk about exactly what's happening underneath the surface because this is the part no one explains clearly enough. Your nervous system learned what relationships feel like a long time ago. Before you had the language for it, before you could choose, it learned this is what love feels like. This is what love attention feels like. This is what connection feels like. And it filed that away as a template. So when you meet someone who matches that template, even if the template includes chaos or distance or someone who makes you feel like you have to earn their presence, it feels like recognition. It feels like, oh, there you are. That feeling, that feeling isn't love at first sight. That's a wound recognizing itself. And here's the part that changes everything because once you understand this, the pattern stops being something that's happening to you and starts being something you can see coming. But seeing it coming isn't enough on its own, and this is where most advice stops because I want to go a level deeper. Because you might already know this. You might have read the books, done the therapy, identified the attachment style, named the wound, and still ended up in a place, in the same place again, because knowledge lives in your head and the pattern lives in your body. Your nervous system doesn't change because you understand something intellectually. It changes through experience, through repetition of something different, through staying in a moment that feels unfamiliar and slowly learning. This is safe. This is also what love can feel like. The calm person, the consistent person, the one who shows up without you having to manage them. They might feel boring at first. That's not a red flag. That's your nervous system not recognizing safety yet. And and this is what I really want you to sit with because I think this is the thing that actually breaks the cycle. Not willpower, not better choices. Something something quieter than that. Because the pattern doesn't break the moment you choose differently. It breaks the moment you sit with the discomfort of something healthy and not run from it. Breaking the pattern doesn't look dramatic. It doesn't look like a revelation or a turning point or a moment where everything just clicks. It looks like meeting someone who is kind and consistent and feeling strangely uncomfortable and choosing to stay anyway. It looks like noticing the pull towards the person who gives you the breadcrumbs and recognizing it for what it is instead of calling it chemistry. It looks like grieving the version of love you thought was the only available kind to you, and that grief that grief is really real because you're not just letting go of a person, you're letting go of a feeling that felt like home, even when home wasn't always kind to you. And and that takes time, and it's allowed to take time. You're not broken because the pattern is stubborn. You're human because healing is slow. So let me leave you with something, not a checklist, not 5 steps, just the truth of where this is all going. The pattern the pattern isn't proof that something is wrong with you. It's proof that you learned to love in conditions that weren't quite right, and you've been faithful to that lesson ever since. But lessons can be unlearned, templates can be rewritten, nervous systems can learn new definitions of safe. It just takes longer than we want it to, and it requires you to sit with the discomfort of something that feels unfamiliar. That's that's the work. It's not glamorous, but it's the only thing that actually works. You didn't keep choosing the wrong person. You kept choosing the feeling you'd learned to call love. The work isn't to choose better, it's to teach yourself that love can feel different than this and not run when it does.